cat for a second. Look at him.
Barry, what are you doing?
Barry. Barry. Buddy, how are you sitting like that? Buddy. Hey everybody, it's yeah girl, Allie. So I was kind of like away for a little bit because I was sucked away in video game land. Two of my favorite games of like all time came out with their sequels, like one after another, and I basically just spent like 3 whole months playing the crap out of those games. So I kind of got sidetracked on my videos. I'm going to be picking up with the next video right now where I'm going to talk about the Minor Arcana. I'm going to be using my super pretty Last Unicorn tarot deck. So you're going to see pretty much every illustration there is to see in this deck between this video and my first video, which if you haven't seen it, I'll put a link on the description so that you can get caught up with what the trump cards mean. So to talk about the Minor Arcana a little bit more, I noticed that some people, oh, you know what? Barry wants to say hi. I wanted to get Barry in the frame because he's just a superstar. I love him. So I wanted to talk about the Minor Arcana a bit more because I feel like a lot of people don't understand some of the themes that go along with the Minor Arcana, and it can be kind of confusing and overwhelming to figure out what everything means and how it relates to the cards in your tarot spreads. So I'm going to start from the first card ever to the very last court cards. So we have aces, which is like the first card in the deck, and then it goes 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then after that, we have the pages, the knights, then the queens, and then the king. And all these cards are very interconnected. They kind of explain almost a full circle of an experience. Additionally, there are 4 different types of suits. There are the wands, which represent fire energy. Wands or rods, depending on what you want to call them. Then you have, or staves, oh my gosh, there's like a million different words for these. Then there's the cups, which is really the only word for that one, representing water signs and water energy. Then we have the swords, which is your air energy. And then we have pentacles or coins, which represents earth energy. And each of these suits are going to be included in the ace to 10 lineup. And they all mean something different depending on what number you pull and what court card you get. So the Minor Arcana card role is to kind of draw parallels between the other cards that you pull in your spreads. So they're supposed to help create a story between the major Arcana cards and try to help you creatively draw connections and relevance to the questioner or yourself or whoever's, you know, needing guidance from the cards. So the Minor Arcana court cards are represented by people and personalities, and so whenever I get those in a reading, I always think of them as, oh, this is so-and-so. For example, I personally am connected to the Queen of Wands, mostly because she is always depicted as a woman holding a cat or having a cat somewhere in her vicinity. In the normal tarot, she's depicted holding sunflowers and a cat, and she's just got like butterflies and stuff around her. And I just personally relate to this card, and when I read her description, I'm like, wow, that feels like me. She's very witty, she's charming, she loves cats, she loves life, and she's very inspired. So whenever I pull this card, I always think of it being myself. And if it's not myself, I just think of the next person in my life that is kind of like that. And I'm like, oh, it must be talking about that. Or like my mom, because my mom is very similar to me in that way. Hopefully by the time we finish this video, you'll have a court card that you might be able to identify with. So I also have a really cool tarot deck. It's called the Anime Tarot. And this actually personifies all of the court cards really well, and it's super cool. So for example, like the High Priestess, it has the description here, and it also has the archetype that it represents, which is the Miko, which if y'all don't know Japanese, it basically just means like the divine priestess. The Miko, it's like archetype, it's a persona, kind of like anime trope. So Rei Hino, so she's kind of like this archetype. So it's kind of cool how it breaks it down, and it kind of explains all the different anime characters that you might be familiar with, and it says, hey, this is the anime trope or persona. Anyway, moving on, I'm gonna start talking about as Barry cleans himself.
Get your clean boy, such a clean boy.
I'm gonna start talking about the ace energy in the Minor Arcana. So I decided to do all 4 suits in the same kind of explanation because a lot of them kind of mean similar things, especially the ace card. So if you pull an ace card, depending on the flavor of the card, it could mean something totally different. So first we're going to talk about Ace of Coins. So Ace of Coins is going to be a new beginning financially. It's also indicative to maybe a new relationship, maybe like a new abundance of money or material affluence. So this is a very physical money card. And then Ace of Wands is going to be the fire. This is just pure creative energy and fuel for your projects and stuff like that. It's kind of a card that says, hey, you have an idea, you gotta go do it and do it now. So that's kind of the fire under your butt card. This one is the Ace of Swords. This one is figuring something out new intellectually. It's a card about cutting through the illusions that keep you back from moving forward. And so this is a card of just saying like, hey, you got it, let's go, let's do this. And this is just pure potential raw energy. So if you pull this card and you've been kind of on the fence about something, this card is telling you to do it. All of these ace cards were pretty much, but this one's almost like the strongest. And this one is the Ace of Cups. So this is a new beginning for maybe an emotional awakening that you're having, or maybe a spiritual awakening that you might be having, kind of like an aha moment that is just like, wow, you figure something out about yourself or maybe someone you love. It could also mean a new love is entering your life as well. So that's something that you can look out for there. Next we have the twos. So the twos carry a message of balance. They talk about, you know, kind of like you might feel stuck and you can't really move forward until you find the equilibrium that you need in the situation. The twos are interesting. So we have the Two of Coins. This one is basically telling you to mind your money and balance out your finances and make sure that you have considered all the different outcomes before making a financial decision. Very important. I need that card like plastered to my face. So next is the Two of Wands, and this is kind of an invitation, inviting you to grow, but also kind of like, you know, asking you to look at all the options before making a decision on something. This also could mean cooking up something new with some colleagues or with someone that you're in a relationship with. So that is kind of what that card means. And next we have the Two of Cups, which is a cup of union. And this card is actually really special because it talks about just two people coming together, and it's kind of like the marriage card. So it's a card of union. It's tied to the emotions and emotional connectivity to other people. So when you see this card, it's a beautiful card and a beautiful sign. In context of romantic relationships, it's basically saying you found your true match here. Everything just kind of fits perfectly into place, which is awesome. Next we have the Two of Swords, which this is a card of indecision. This card is really tough. It's asking you to pause and reflect and be introspective about whatever it is that is, you know, your question that you have. Maybe you have some sort of difficult choice. Maybe you've been overwhelmed. It wants you to meditate and ruminate on things and just take a chance, like give yourself a chance to really think about the best course of action. And it also kind of encourages you to know that maybe doing nothing is the best course of action. Okay, so Barry's still cleaning himself. Okay, next we're gonna talk about the threes. And the threes are all about, threes have a message of communication and interactions with other people. They indicate the influence that other people have on your life. Not only that, but like your work and your emotions. Three of Swords is the first one. And this first card, the Three of Swords is the breakup card. It is the heartache card. It is the goodbye card. It's a very sad card, honestly. And if you ever get it in a poll, I'm really sorry. Like, it's just, I don't really know anything positive about this card. But it's basically saying that, you know, the cards know that this is a tough moment for you, or maybe you had a tough moment in your life at some point, or maybe you will be going through something difficult where you will need to be prepared. And that's a sword, so that's an air sign card. And then we have the Three of Cups, which is completely different from the Three of Swords. This more is like a celebration. So basically the opposite of the Three of Swords, we have the Three of Cups. and you can see 3 friends celebrating. So this is the ultimate celebration card. This is basically saying like, you did a great job in something, or you know what, you just deserve to relax and take a break and have fun with your friends and just not be worried about stuff. I love this card. I want that card all the time in my life. Okay, so the next one is the 3 of Coins, and this card is a card of like recognition in your work. Basically is talking about like you working really hard on something and it going noticed. Could mean collaboration, a possible like business collaboration. Maybe you're taking on a new project at work. This card is a very physical card. It has to do with actual people and money. Basically is saying that you're gonna be doing something really meaningful with your work soon. And that's always a really hopeful card, which is nice. Okay, so this is the 3 of Wands, and this card is all about strategy, action. Things are unfolding for you. Everything's going right, and you finally are able to set things in motion. Your projects are no longer just ideas, they're kind of taking off. It's talking about building on the collaboration and partnership of the 2 of Wands, which was a card we covered previously. So this card is like the next card, and it's basically saying all the good energy that you've put out into the world is coming back to you, and you're moving forward with something. Moving forward, right, Barry? Where are you going? Next, we're going to talk about 4 energy. So the 4s in tarot talk about just resting and kind of taking a break. So after you've, come up with an idea and have been balancing out your options and then putting things in motion or dealing with stuff that has happened to you, the 4s are asking you to reflect and rest. We're going to start off here with 4 of Wands. So this one is kind of like the 3 of Cups. It's sort of a celebration, but it's kind of more on like your personal celebration. So reveling in your hard work that you've done. Hey, you've done such a good job, kick back, relax, reap the rewards for the groundwork that you've laid, the foundation that you've laid out for yourself. The next one we have the next one we have is the 4 of Cups. And this one is kind of a heavy one because something's on this person's mind, and there's a lot of like little options and worries and anxieties that are hovering over them, and they're kind of feeling overwhelmed and not really sure what to do, and they're almost kind of stuck. They feel kind of like they can't do anything. So basically this card is saying like you're bored. like it's the boredom card. So when you see this, it could mean that you feel stuck, you feel like you're complacent. It's almost like you're being forced into a rest state instead of just being like, oh, you did such a great job, how about you take a rest? This is all like, you've been resting for a while now and you just don't know what to do and your wheels are spinning and you feel creatively like meh. And you might need to find some ways to feel good about your life and be grateful for what you have going on right now. And it won't last forever. So next we have the 4 of Coins, which talks about being conservative with your money, with your emotion. This is a card of not wanting to let go of certain things. You can kind of see the symbols in this card. Specifically, they have like little cages of things. They don't want to let it go. And this card is basically just saying like you're possibly terrified of losing what you have. And it's inviting you not to do that. Like, don't be afraid of don't be afraid to take risks. And this card is basically representing stubbornness. They want you to make sure that you're not leaning into greed because it's going to make you miserable. And they don't want you to be selfish. So reflect on yourself. If you see that card showing up in your reading, consider, am I being selfish about something going on? Is someone in my life being selfish? Kind of think about that topic. Okay. So this one is the 4 of Swords, and this one basically talks about rest, that you need a break. You need a break from something, whether it's a relationship, whether it's work, whether it's just something that you've been working on for yourself, like, you've been working on your portfolio or you've been working on getting better at something a lot, kind of pushing your body. This is basically telling you to rest, meditate, and make sure to reflect and check in on yourself and make sure that your wants are aligning with your needs and vice versa. So next we're going to talk about the 5s in the Minor Arcana because it's all about competition, adversity, conflict, loss, just some negative experiences that you might be encountering in your life. All these cards are like, not all of them are like hopelessly negative, by the way. There's always some sort of like silver lining, like hey, if you're going through a hard time, just, you know, remember X, Y, and Z and stay strong. You know, they're very encouraging. So if you ever get negative cards, just know that there's always going to be like a side to it that gives you hope and helps you understand like, hey, this might be happening, or this is happening to you, but maybe taking this approach to dealing with it. We're going to start off with the Five of Swords, which talks all about the ego. And this sword is also about defeat and competition, big frustration or major pain that you experienced or will experience. I mean, who knows, depending. And it wants to ask you, you know, are you jeopardizing your relationships? Are you jeopardizing your dignity? This question that you might have, or that someone asking you might have, is questioning your motives here and making sure that you're being mature and you're being compassionate and thinking about other people other than yourself. So this next one is the Five of Coins. And this one just signifies a struggle, a lack of support, a feeling of helplessness. This signifies a time of, you know, maybe it's like physical, financial, or even spiritual struggle. And it's saying whatever realm this is, it could be associated with some of the hardest times of your life. Maybe you went through a breakup, or maybe you lost your job, or just maybe you had a moment where a friend kind of made you feel like they didn't support you anymore, and you don't feel heard. It's trying to say like, keep moving forward and try not to succumb to these feelings of helplessness, and try to see the good in what you have. And you know, there are people in your life who will be there for you, or who are there for you, and just don't forget that. So next we have the Five of Cups, which talks about regret and pessimism. And it also talks about mourning, so emotional mourning. It's a period of sorrow and loss, and it's blinding you. It's blinding you to like potential growth, and you can't even see straight. Like, this is you're in a funk card. You feel kind of sad and depressed, and it's basically just telling you like, don't wallow in that. Whatever you do, anything that you can do, whether it's move or just change your hobbies, get a new perspective, anything to stay from wallowing, because it's going to hold back your growth. So Five of Wands is the next card, and it's the ultimate competition card. So if you're doing a reading and you see this card, it means that either you're competing with yourself somehow, whether it's like you're trying too hard to compare where you're at to where you are now and kind of creating an inner conflict with yourself, or it could be someone else being competitive towards you and creating adversity in your life. It's usually associated with something new that has entered the fray, and it's shaken things up for you. When you get this, it basically just means that, you know, you want to prove yourself, and you're really eager to make that happen. And it's kind of encouraging this competition and letting it fuel you and push you forward, because sometimes it does take a little bit of competition, whether it's friendly or not, to kind of advance yourself in your path. So the next card is going to be the Sixes, and the Sixes represent basically like overcoming challenges and leaving behind bad situations. This is trying to help you get a greater understanding of who you're becoming right now, and some ideas and different perspectives on how to, you know, like move forward. Okay, so we're gonna talk first about the Six of Wands, and I love this card in this deck in particular. I love the meaning of it, and I also love that there's narwhals. So this one talks about validation, harmony, victory, and recognition, success. It's talking about after the conflict of the Five of Wands. So this is after all that conflict, you're coming out victorious, you're emerging more self-assured, more competent. Maybe all that competition from the Five of Wands has given you a promotion. That's freaking awesome. So this is a really good sign. It's a good card saying that you've got your diploma and you'll get the recognition that you deserve. So all good things. So the next card that we're going to talk about in the Sixes is the Six of Cups. I love this card because it's kind of like a homecoming card. It's a card of nostalgia. It's a card of kind of coming home to the comforts of what used to be. And it signifies a time of revisiting and remembering something that you loved for or cared for deeply. You know, it wants you to re-listen to some old songs you used to listen to when you were a kid. You know, blast that emo music, or reach out to an old friend you haven't spoken to who was very, very dear to you. And like reconnect with things that used to make you happy as a kid. because in these moments when you're reconnecting with things like that used to mean a lot to you, sometimes it can spark new perspectives and new ideas in your life, even though it was some old memory and some old things that had happened. So the card wants you to maybe explore on that a little bit more and see where it takes you. Okay, next we're going to talk about the Six of Swords, and this card is all about, again, all about letting go, getting perspective, letting go, and progressing. It's not saying that, hey, you're being selfish and stubborn, you need to let go. This one is just inviting you to bid farewell to negative and toxic environments that you might have been in. And this wants you to have a new mindset and trust in high hopes, and know that, you know, you're moving towards better situations, and it wants to tell you that healing is on the horizon for you. The last card is going to be the Six of Coins. And this card is all about charity, financial balance, and security. It's about generosity. And this card is just such an awesome card. It's about giving and receiving. It's trying to say, like, do you need to ask for support more? Do you need to support other people more? It could be that you need some generosity, and it could be that you need to give some generosity to other people. So if you need help, this card is inviting you to reach out, ask for support, ask, you know, if someone out there wants to help you with something. But also it could really mean, like, maybe you need to be supportive of someone else, depending on what your question is or what the context is. So that is all the sixes. So we're gonna move on to the sevens. And the sevens are all about confidence and trusting yourself and trusting the universe and just knowing that things are gonna be okay, and the themes within all of that topic. Let's start off with the Seven of Pentacles. So Seven of Pentacles, Seven of Coins, however you wanna call it, the Earth card. So it's gonna be about like investment, commitment, and patience, and having faith that your investments are going to work out. It basically is signaling, like, you're in a point in your life where your commitments and your investments, you're like waiting on it and you're being patient. Stay at it, keep vigilant, and just keep going, just keep doing your thing. Next, we're gonna do the Seven of Swords, and as you know, with all sword cards, they're all kind of crappy, but they all kind of have some negative meaning. But this one is all about cheating and sabotage, theft, deception. It's a shady business card. It's asking you to look around and investigate other people's motives, and it can warn you that maybe the methods of which you're trying to achieve something are not good. Maybe you need to reflect on yourself and be like, hey, are you cheating in this situation? Are you being the jerk in this situation? Like, are you going to get yourself in trouble and potentially, you know, cause a negative outcome? And it wants you to, like, ask if you're the one being duplicitous and asking what your intentions are. And it wants you to have pure intentions, you know, but it's also wanting you to reflect and really make sure it's worth it for whatever you're trying to do, or maybe someone else is trying to do to you. Okay, next we have the Seven of Cups, which is one of the ultimate choice cards in the Minor Arcana. And this one is all about indecision, choices, possibilities, and inspiration. And it could indicate that you're at a really major crossroad right now, and you're like super inspired by like all these different avenues, but you have to choose one, and it's really overwhelming and it's really hard, and it wants you to sit with yourself and like really let your intuition guide you. It's a Cups card, so it's going to be all about using your creativity and intuition to guide you down the right direction that you feel and know in your heart to be the right direction. And it wants you to do that and have a lot of faith in yourself. So the next one, the last one in the sevens, is going to be the Seven of Wands, and this is the ultimate bravery card. This card is all about standing up for yourself. It's about resilience and self-defense. And this card might be saying, hey, maybe you're feeling a little bit too insecure about what you're about to do or your question, and you need to be brave and you need to be more committed to what it is you really want to do. And it's saying, like, don't back down. Even if the odds seem stacked against you, like, you need to push through that and be brave and do what you know you need to do. So this is a very encouraging card. If you get it, it's just trying to like kind of push you forward and say, hey, you got this. Like you're a baddie. You can do this. So that's a really good card to get. I always like seeing that card in a spread. So yeah, that is the 7s. And so let's move on and talk about the 8s. So the 8 cards are all about work and change. These cards are telling you that the only way for you to get to where you want to be is to change your perspective, change your life, and work really hard and work focused on what you want to achieve. In this whole process of working hard and changing, it can be very difficult, and it talks about those themes in these cards. So first we're going to start with the 8 of Wands, and this card is going to be all fantastic growth and communication and momentum. And it's basically saying like there's a sudden transformation that's going to happen for you. It wants you to be really ready to receive these news and messages of something that's coming right at you. So it could be like a new job, it could be a new opportunity, it could be a new perspective that you have on life, it could be something new that you're experiencing. So if you see this card, it is an opportunity to learn and grow from whatever situation that you might be talking about in your spread. 8 of Cups, this is another like letting go card, but this letting go is not about like, it's kind of a sad letting go. It's kind of about being disappointed with something. So you can kind of see she's looking away from the tower, and she looks disappointed to be leaving where she is, and it's all pretty and sparkly, and she's like, oh, do I really have to go? You know, like, eh. This also highlights your desire for more. Maybe like wherever you're at right now just doesn't fit you, and you need a different situation. Like you're just kind of like not feeling it anymore. This is basically just saying like, you know, starting new can be really, really intimidating and scary and dangerous even for some people's situations, but it's saying like this can change your life by really leaning into changing your environment and changing your world around you that's giving you disappointment and unfulfilled feelings. It's saying, it's inviting you to think about taking a leap of faith and trusting in yourself to do something different. So this one is the 8 of Swords, and this next card talks about feelings of being trapped, whether that's in your own mind or maybe physically. I think for this one, it's more of a mental thing. You might feel afraid or overwhelmed by your circumstances, and you feel like you're not going to be moving forward anytime soon. So this card's saying like, you know, it might feel impossible to trust yourself or anyone again, but know that you have to make a leap of faith and do it with love in your heart, because you have to find a way to invite that positivity back inside of your life. And you can't really do that if you've got walls up and not being real with yourself. Okay, next we have the 8 of Pentacles. I had to check my boobs. And in this card, it's going to talk about commitment, hard work, education, skill development. And this card is all about like saying you're looking to build the foundation for your life, and you're doing that through mastering your skills and learning new profitable ways to make money, to support yourself, and to just be successful, whether that's investing in your self-worth or your personal growth, your money, investing your money to grow. This card is all about validating and noticing that you're doing that, or telling you that you need to do that. So yeah, this is a great card to get. Okay, so moving on, we have the 9. The 9s represent fruition. So this represents things coming together, and you may or may not like it. So first we have the 9 of Pentacles, or Queens. And this card is all about prosperity, accomplishment, self-sufficiency, and becoming empowered, whether that's financially or maybe physically. Because we're dealing with pentacles, basically anything financial, it's basically saying that you can relax now. You've earned this stability and independence, or you may be earning this stability or independence in the future. 9 of Swords is the next one, and this is the ultimate PTSD card. This is a card of nightmares and turmoil and inner fears. And this card is basically recognizing that you might be in a really bad place right now. Depression and anxiety and all these things that kind of keep you up at night and don't allow you to enjoy your life. And it's saying like, you know, there are people out there that you need to ask for help, and they're going to be compassionate, they're going to help ground you, but you need the support of other people to kind of get back on your feet. The Nine of Cups is the next one, and it's all about satisfaction, contentment, celebration. You know, much like the Three of Cups, this cup is talking about like you're just really happy with what you got right now, and there's also new things on the horizon too. And it's a celebration card, so if you see this card, it's a really positive card asking you to celebrate what you have and look forward to new great things coming up. Next we have the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is talking about vigilance, it's talking about defensiveness, boundaries, maybe past struggles that you've had. There's nothing really threatening you. Maybe a lot of the stuff that you're going through right now is like all in your head and trying to keep you from you know, defeating yourself and stressing yourself out over nothing. So maybe consider, you know, letting your guard down and standing tall in this moment or in this question that you have. So those are the nines. We are on our last number card, which is exciting. This is a lot. This is a long video, so thank you all for sticking it out. I'm pretty sure I lost most people at this point. But you know, it is what it is. So the 10s are all about final outcomes of things. So from 1 to 10, it's almost like a big circle that you go in, like of little experiences. And they carry messages about rewards or consequences. So it can either be a good thing or a bad thing that you're gonna be getting back. So depending on the flavor of the card, that will determine what, you know, what's in store. Let's talk about the Ten of Wands. This one's all about persistence, endurance, burdens, and it's basically saying like you're almost at the finish line and you can't give up now. You have to make it a bit further. Maybe you bit off more that you can chew, but it's saying that you can still do it, finish it. So that's a card of just like encouraging you to finish what you started. So next we have the Ten of Cups, which is a gorgeous card in this tarot deck. The message is really gorgeous too. It's about togetherness and connection and love, bonds, harmony, and support, and it represents your thriving, happy family, whether it's you and your cat or you and your loved one or you and your 12 babies or whatever. You found the thing that makes your soul sing and what completes you. So this goal of having love in your life, and it's here, or it will be there, or maybe you had it in the past. So this is a really positive card. All right, next we have the Ten of Swords, which is like the opposite of that card. As you know, like the swords are negatives, and this one is all about loss, pain, betrayal. Yeah, it's traditionally depicted as a dead man with like 10 swords stuck in him. But in this tarot deck, it's just like some bird about to get stabbed. So, you know, whether your relationship has ended abruptly, or maybe you got laid off from your job suddenly, or you're just going through a really freaking hard time, it's saying to surrender to the situation and know that eventually you're gonna come out, you know, reforged by these flames of your struggle. So this is a card of like saying you're about to phoenix from all this crap you've been going through, or maybe it's in a past context and it was saying, hey, you went through a lot of crap. Or if it's in a future context, it might be kind of warning you, saying, hey, you know, depending on your options and the way that you react to something or how you plan, you could be going through a hard time with whatever it is you're talking about. The last one we have here is the Ten of Pentacles, and this card is the family card. This is all about security, especially financial security. It's about profit, community. It's basically the card of generational wealth and signifies happiness and stability. And this card focuses on distributing wealth to your family and uplifting your community through, you know, financial means. So it also could mean that you're entering into a community that's going to enrich you and help you. Getting a job at like a really big corporation and having their financial protection bestowed upon you, you know, through stocks or things like that that you didn't have access to before. So this is a great positive card. It's a great financial card. So if you ever get that, that's a good sign. Next, we're going to talk about the court cards. And the court cards, as I brought up earlier in this video, are all about people and their personalities. The court cards are interesting and I really appreciate them because they're they are a little bit more specific to actual real humans that you interact with. So first we're going to talk about the pages, and the pages are these kind of like naive, sort of foolish, but very sweet people that are super, super adventurous. They have a vision. They have the energy to potentialize things. So they're kind of like the fire starters. They are just super inspiring, like, people and ideas. So we're gonna start with them first and talk a little bit more about what each page does. So the first one we're gonna cover is gonna be the page of coins. And this is all about diligence, financial opportunities, skill development. Pages are messenger types, so they're always going to be coming in with a message. And the pages of pentacles, they're talking about executing a vision and working on developing your skills and building your foundations. This is more of like a new idea that you have relating to work or money. So next we have the page of swords, which is the air page. And air energy is all about communication, logistics. So it's asking you to be curious about different things that you can do to broaden your horizons. If you're waiting on certain results of something, you should be getting them soon. This is all about research, debating, and negotiation on a particular topic or project that you're working on. So this is asking you to use your logic and intellect to kind of get more out of what you're working on. Next we have the page of cups, encouraging you to listen to your lighter creative side and listen to your heart on whatever matter it is that is brought up in your spread. Really positive, inspiring energy. Last we have the page of wands. It's all about limitless potential, pure ambition, enthusiasm. This represents creativity and excitement and curiosity about the world. So you might be brimming with this creative energy, but this card is inviting you to actually sit down and plan it out, because your idea is actually really great and you don't want to ruin that moment by not really having a plan to execute it. Okay, so we're going to talk more about the knights. So the knights are after the page, and they're a little bit more focused energy than the page. They're a little bit more skilled, they're a little bit more mature. Just a little bit. And the first one we have here is the Knight of Wands. And this is going to talk about optimism, determination, and enthusiasm. Much like the Page of Wands, the Knight of Wands is going to start. He's really going to go. But it's also asking you, like, you know, the Page of Knights is actually a very hasty guy, a very hasty energy, and it's saying to don't get too hasty. Try to look before you leap and have some sort of balance between enthusiasm with your idea and balance between emotions and realism. So this is the Knight of Wands. Okay, so the next one we have is the Knight of Cups, and as you know from the theme, cups are all about love and emotion and intuition. It indicates that you're bringing a dream that you might have had to life, which is amazing. So if you had some creative project that you're working on, or maybe you have a relationship with someone and you want to propose, or you finally propose or something like that, that's what this card represents. The Knight is also very much in touch with their emotions. This could also indicate like a new emotional implication for you is coming up on the horizon, like a new, heavily creative endeavor. Good sign. I like King of Cups energy. Sorry, Knight of Cups. I like Knight of Cups energy. The next we have Knight of Swords, and this is like quick thinking, witty intellectual ideas. So these are kind of like quick determinations, quick sweeping movements that you might need to do. You need to make sure that you don't let your emotions dictate your actions in this particular scenario. It's also telling you that you might need to be prepared to have conversations, negotiations and debates with people in your life. That can cause you to be challenged by other people, and it's basically just saying, like, don't let your emotions get the better of you and make quick decisions in these moments. So the next we have the Knight of Coins, and coins is the pentacles and coins in tarot. The theme is all about kind of like building and mastering a craft. So this is basically saying that you've been working on attaining mastery and becoming more adept at your craft, but you're not quite there yet. Your progress is never going to be a straight line. It's going to be like a steady and continuous journey, and that's going to have its own challenges and setbacks. So just kind of don't give up on this energy. This night is asking you not to give up on yourself and to just keep going. Okay, so next we have the Queen energy, which is some of my favorite energy. And just so you know, anybody regardless of your gender, can have feminine energy. And the idea behind feminine energy is the like in nature, it's like nurturing, it's supportive, it's caring and compassionate, it's wanting to heal and have empathy and understanding and create that sort of warm foundation for people to grow and learn and be happy. So feminine energy is very good. It's very much needed, especially in this world right now. We're gonna start with the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is some of my favorite energy in the whole deck. I love this card. It's my card. I know I spoke about it in the beginning of the video. She's courageous, she's confident, she's determined, outgoing, charismatic, and she's always on the move. When you see her in a reading, it could mean the cards are trying to encourage you to go towards something. The Queen is like a real social butterfly, and she uses her charisma to connect with people. So it's kind of like saying, hey, maybe you need to connect with certain people in your life. Maybe you need to be more outgoing if you can. She uses these skills to create entrepreneurial connections to further support her endeavors, and like these connections bring her a lot of success. So it's kind of just being like, hey, be open to networking, be open in general. It could represent someone in your life that is like this. It's also an invitation to accept your whole self in whatever stage of life you're in right now. Next, we have the Queen of Cups, which is this card here. And she's all about compassion, nurture, emotional stability, and intuition. She's super caring. She's led by her empathy and intuition. As far as all the queens are concerned, this queen is more emotionally connected and intuitive than any other queen in the deck, and a lot of other, even other, you know, major arcana cards in the deck. You should lead with your heart and not your head, which is a good, lovely message here. Next, we're going to talk about the Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Coins, and this card is the Earth card. The Queen of Coins is an excellent card. It's all about nurturing, hard work, and resourcefulness, and it's a very much material card, and she invests in people, and she does that through financial means. So it could mean someone in your life who is helping you financially through a crisis, supporting you financially in some way. It could mean yourself. It could mean that you are having this Queen of Coin energy. She's super reliable, she's loyal. She just really loves to care about people around her. And this is just that kind of energy. She's awesome. Next, we have the Queen of Swords, which is an interesting queen because she is she's like a very no BS, independent, critical thinker. She's got really clear boundaries. She sets her sights on things and she goes and gets it. You know, she channels a lot of her energy into her work, and she wields her authority and expertise in a measured and very clear way. And she's encouraging you to do the same in this realm. This queen is not very emotionally bound. She is more on the side of direct communication and discernment and stuff like that. And she just doesn't put up with things. She just kind of cuts straight to the point, and I really admire this type of energy because she uses her intellect to make decisions. And so yeah, if you ever see her in a reading, it might be inviting you to not use so much of your emotions and think more with your head and use logic in the situation. So last but not least, we have the King energy, and the King energy in tarot is very masculine, as you would imagine. It's going to be not necessarily the opposite of the Queen, but it's going to be balancing the feminine energy. So masculine energy, for those of you that aren't familiar with it, is very, very much needed energy. It's all about protection. It's about building foundations. It's about being assertive and using dominance to help provide security for their family and loved ones, and also having enough material wealth and prosperity and success to support the system of family. So masculine energy is very, very important, just as important as feminine energy, and these cards represent different facets of that masculinity. So I'm going to go through and talk about the King of Swords first, who is one of the most like badass kings. These guys are all about truth and conviction and authority, and they're the masters of logic, rationality, and order. So they're super disciplined, they're pretty immovable, they're the epitome of professionalism, the cool, calm guy. They're sophisticated, intelligent, and stoic, and when you pull this, it could mean that it's asking you to stay cool in the situation that you're in. It also could represent somebody that has these traits in your life too. So next we have the King of Cups, and this king he's all about being emotionally centered. So this guy really is a deep emotional person, but he has really he's got a great boundary on you know, how he expresses it and uses it. He knows exactly who he is. He knows exactly what he wants and how to show gratitude for what he has. This can also be a figure of guidance. So it could be someone that you trust that is almost like an older person in your life that can give you guidance emotionally and spiritually. So this guy is pretty awesome. Next we have the King of Wands, super leadership. This guy is all about wisdom, leadership, honor. He wants to connect with other people and truly understand them and accept them for who they are. He helps people see their full potential. So he's super patient. He brings out the best in people that he encounters, and he wants you to do the same. He's got a lot of hard-earned wisdom, and he's eager to share his knowledge. And like his queen, they have a really big network of passionate connections that can help you on your journey. So this person really wants you to step into your power and be a leader and stop waiting. Great card to pull, especially if you need a little bit of an encouragement or push with what you're going through. And last we have the King of Coins or Pentacles. And this represents like the wise master. Using his wealth, he provides protection, he's good at management, he's practical, sensible, analytical with his wealth, time, and resources. And he is inviting you to be committed to objectives and achieve your goals. These guys have also mastered their craft. So I know when we talk about coins or pentacles before, we talk about how they're trying to build their skills and get really good at what they do. This guy has mastered it all, and he's ready to share that wisdom with you and encourage you to master yourself. So those are all the Minor Arcana cards. Thank you all so much for sticking it out with me. I'm really happy to explain all these cards in depth. I was gonna do a really short 10-minute video that went over all the cards like really quickly, but I realized that it probably wasn't gonna be as informative as I hoped. A lot of these cards are super up to your own discernment on how you want to explain them and tie them together, but I hope that you found some interesting stories and meanings you can use them in your spreads. I hope that it was all super accurate. If y'all have any thoughts and want to leave some comments, or if you have questions, I'd be really happy to make a follow-up video, or just, talk in the comments about anything that you want to learn. And yeah, thank you all so very much. Barry thanks you, and he loves that you support my channel and me and him. And I hope that y'all have a wonderful rest of your night, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!